In the vast tapestry of human achievement, few stories capture our imagination quite like those of the brave souls who dared to venture beyond our earthly bounds. And in Hollywood, few actors have brought such stories to life with the authenticity and heart of Tom Hanks. Today, we witness a deeply moving moment as the man who once portrayed a space hero on screen bids farewell to that very hero in real life. On August 8, 2025, the world lost a true pioneer when Jim Lovell, the legendary Apollo 13 commander, passed away at the remarkable age of 97. But this wasn't just any astronaut's passing. This was the farewell to a man whose story of survival, courage, and determination became one of the most celebrated space missions in history, immortalized forever in Ron Howard's Academy Award-winning film, Apollo 13. For Tom Hanks, this loss was particularly profound. The actor who spent months preparing to embody Lovell's character, who studied his mannerisms, his voice, his unwavering calm under pressure, found himself saying goodbye to a man he had come to deeply admire. In a heartfelt Instagram tribute that moved millions around the world, Hanks wrote words that perfectly captured the essence of what made Jim Lovell extraordinary. "There are people who dare, who dream, and who lead others to places we would not go on our own," Hanks began his tribute. These weren't just words from an actor to an astronaut, they were the reflections of one storyteller recognizing the profound courage of another human being whose story had touched his own life so deeply. To understand the weight of this moment, we need to travel back to April 1970, when Jim Lovell found himself 200,000 miles from Earth, facing what seemed like certain death. The Apollo 13 mission was supposed to be NASA's third successful moon landing. Instead, it became what historians now call a successful failure, a mission that failed in its original purpose but succeeded in demonstrating the incredible ingenuity, determination, and teamwork of both the astronauts in space and the mission controllers on Earth. When an oxygen tank exploded on their service module, Lovell and his crew, John Swigert Jr. and Fred Hayes Jr., suddenly found themselves in a crippled spacecraft with limited power, dwindling oxygen, and a life support system on the brink of failure. It was Lovell who delivered those now famous words to Mission Control: "Houston, we've had a problem." But what made Lovell extraordinary wasn't just his calm delivery of terrifying news, it was how he led his crew through the next 4 harrowing days. With their lunar landing dreams shattered, Lovell had to become something more than just a commander. He had to become a beacon of hope for his crew and for the millions watching from Earth. He helped navigate their spacecraft around the moon, using it like a gravitational slingshot to propel them back toward Earth. Every decision, every calculation, every moment of leadership could mean the difference between life and death. When Tom Hanks was cast to portray Jim Lovell in 1995, he knew he wasn't just taking on any role. He was being entrusted with telling the story of a genuine American hero. Hanks spent countless hours with Lovell, learning not just the technical aspects of the mission, but understanding the man himself, his quiet confidence, his methodical approach to crisis, and his ability to inspire others even in the darkest moments. The resulting film wasn't just entertainment, it was a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. When Hanks delivered Lovell's famous line, "Houston, we have a problem," on screen, he wasn't just reciting dialogue, he was channeling the spirit of a man who had faced the impossible and found a way through. The movie went on to receive 9 Academy Award nominations, winning 2, but more importantly, it introduced a new generation to the remarkable story of Apollo 13 and Jim Lovell's leadership. In his tribute, Hanks reflected on what truly drove men like Lovell to venture into the unknown. His many voyages around Earth and on to so very close to the moon were not made for riches or celebrity, but because such challenges as those are what fuels the course of being alive, he wrote. This insight gets to the heart of what made Lovell special. He wasn't seeking fame or fortune, he was driven by humanity's fundamental need to explore, to push boundaries, and to discover what lies beyond our current understanding. Jim Lovell's career spanned the golden age of American space exploration. Before Apollo 13, he had already made 3 previous journeys to space, including commanding Apollo 8, the first crewed mission to orbit the moon. For a time, he held the record for the human who had traveled farthest from Earth and spent the most time in space. He was a pioneer in the truest sense, opening pathways that others would follow. But it was Apollo 13 that defined his legacy. The mission that was supposed to end in triumph instead became a masterclass in crisis management, teamwork, and never giving up when the odds seem impossible. Lovell's leadership during those critical days demonstrated that sometimes our greatest victories come not from achieving our original goals, but from how we respond when everything goes wrong. The relationship between Tom Hanks and Jim Lovell extended far beyond the movie. Even decades after Apollo 13 was released, they maintained a connection. Lovell even made a cameo appearance in the film, playing the captain of the USS Iwo Jima, the Navy ship that recovered the Apollo 13 crew after their successful splashdown in the South Pacific. It was a touching moment. The real hero welcoming home the actors who had portrayed his incredible journey. For Hanks, portraying Lovell wasn't just another role in his distinguished career, it was an opportunity to honor the kind of person he deeply admired. Throughout his career, Hanks has been drawn to stories of ordinary people who find themselves in extraordinary circumstances and rise to meet them. From Forrest Gump to Captain Phillips, from Saving Private Ryan to Sully, Hanks has consistently chosen to portray characters who embody the best of human nature under pressure. As news of Lovell's passing spread, tributes poured in from around the world. NASA officials, fellow astronauts, scientists, and space enthusiasts all shared their memories and appreciation for a man who had helped define an era of human achievement. But perhaps none was more poignant than Tom Hanks' farewell, the words of an actor who had spent months walking in Lovell's shoes, trying to understand what made him extraordinary. In closing his tribute, Hanks offered what amounted to a final farewell to a man he had portrayed, studied, and admired, "God speed you, on this next voyage." It was a perfect ending, acknowledging that while Jim Lovell's earthly journey had ended, his spirit of exploration and discovery would continue to inspire future generations of dreamers and adventurers. Jim Lovell's life reminds us that heroes aren't just found in fiction, they walk among us, often quietly, carrying within them the courage and determination to face the impossible. And sometimes, we're fortunate enough to have storytellers like Tom Hanks who can help us see and appreciate the extraordinary nature of these remarkable individuals. Today, as we remember Jim Lovell, we're reminded that the greatest adventures aren't always the ones that go according to plan. Sometimes, they're the ones where everything goes wrong, but through courage, ingenuity, and unwavering determination, we find a way to bring everyone home safely. In space, as in life, it's not always about reaching your intended destination, sometimes, it's about the incredible journey of finding your way back home. The stars have gained another navigator, and while we mourn his passing, we celebrate a life lived in service of human exploration and discovery. Jim Lovell showed us that with the right combination of skill, courage, and teamwork, there's no challenge too great to overcome. And thanks to Tom Hanks' heartfelt portrayal and touching tribute, his legacy will continue to inspire future generations to reach for the stars, even when, especially when, the journey becomes more difficult than anyone could have imagined.